Hello everyone, and today we're back into another top 5, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 easiest Loomians to use in PvP. There are some Loomians which require a lot of skill to use and takes a lot of work to master, while there's other Loomians which are pretty easy to use that pretty much anyone can use from the get-go. So yeah, let's head right onto this list right about now. But before we do that, we're doing another giveaway, and we're giving away this GSA Impkin. And I know it might not be the best traits, but hey, it's a GSA Impkin. Who doesn't want this? So, if you say Gleam Impkin in the comments below, I will give you a number, and within a few days, I will spin a random number generator wheel, and if your number gets picked, you will win this GSA Impkin. So if you say GSA Impkin in the comments below, you'll have a chance to win this Loomian. So yeah, let's head right onto the top 5 easiest Loomians. So number 5 onto this list is actually going to be interesting because it's going to be Revenine. Now, Revenine isn't necessarily that easy to use without its secret ability. With Revenine's secret ability, it has a clear role. If one Loomian on your team dies, you go into Revenine and you revenge kill it. That's pretty much Revenine's role. And it's pretty easy to use that role because when a Loomian is dead, you get a ×2 attack boost, which is insane. And it pretty much is easy to use because of that. Because if you have a Loomian get KO'd, you just go into Revenine, and then Revenine does a lot of damage. And while there are a couple range tanks in the game, like Venolin is one of the big range tanks that can kind of wall Revenine. I think Terraclaw and Gastroke can do the same thing. But, yeah, Revenine is very easy to use for a newcomer. And while it isn't necessarily easy to use everywhere else, as a revenge killer, its role is pretty much easy to use. It has a very easy role. Revenge kill Loomians. That is Revenine's role. And that's why Revenine is on this list at all. Besides that, though, Revenine isn't the easiest to use because it is very frail. So it does die pretty easily. But with the role that it has, it fulfills that role really well. And it's pretty easy to use it within this role. I mean, if a Loomian gets fainted, you go into Revenine and you revenge kill him. That is how you use Revenine in a nutshell. Pretty easy to use, and it definitely deserves number 5. Number 4 to this list is actually going to be Tyrax. And Tyrax has an amazing typing, Metal Earth. Metal Earth typing is really, really good on Tyrax. It can hit a lot of the stuff in the game, and it has a lot of good resistances and pretty solid defense on both sides. The thing that makes Tyrax so easy to use is team building. When you use Tyrax, it's so easy to put Tyrax on a team. I use Tyrax pretty often because Tyrax is often pretty easy to slap on a team because any player can use Tyrax pretty well. And even though it doesn't have anything really easy to really use in the battles, it's so easy to use for team building. That's what makes Tyrax so good. The fact that it's so easy to build around, it has to make Tyrax be on the list just on that by itself. It also has Scapegoat, meaning that it can't get stat planted. It also has Setup, meaning it could set up Sharpen. So Tyrax does have a bit to go with it. Despite it being very easy to use, it does have a little bit of depth in use. It's one of those easy Loomians, which is still fun to use, which is not going to be like the top 3 Loomians on the list, where they're just not as fun to use. If you want to get wins, you get the top 3 Loomians. With Tyrax, it's pretty easy to use, but yet you could still have some fun using it. There's a lot of different sets you can run on it, and that's why Tyrax is number 4. Number 3 onto the list is actually going to be Tooclips. And Tooclips with no eyes, apparently. So, yeah, I don't think anyone's shocked that Tooclips is one of the easiest Loomians to use. If you predict the dark or light type move going on you go into Tooclips. You soak the hit, you get a speed boost, you sweep. That's pretty much how you use Tooclips. It is that easy. And also, Dark Light can pretty much hit anything neutrally in the entire game. The only Loomians I could see it not hit are range tanks and also bug types. But even then, like Gamma Pulse can hit bug types for at least neutral. So yeah, they need to have high range defense. There's almost no swap-ins for Tooclips. It's very easy to use defensively. It's very easy to use offensively. It has setup. It has Raging Howl for other Tooclipses. And this thing is boring as heck. It's easy to use. It's easy and boring. That is basically the definition of Tooclips. It's a meta Loomian. It is the Loomian that is all over the meta right now. And I know that there's other Loomians right now, like Pyrolin and like Gargolem Attack, which are both well used right now. But Tooclips is just unstoppable. It has more immunities and weaknesses, and that's why it's so easy to use. Plus, it's very easy to build a team around Tooclips because of those immunities. Since it has more immunities and weaknesses, it's so easy to build a team around, even easier than Tyrax. But unlike Tyrax, Tooclips is boring. I don't like Tooclips. Even when I use Tooclips, I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's fun to go up against it. And Tooclips is definitely a top 3 easiest Loomian to use. Number 2 onto this list is actually going to be Mutagon. And while Mutagon does have some weaknesses and even got a defense nerf just recently, it doesn't really fix the Mutagon problem. Because this is what you do. Brawn boost, quick punch. You win. Oh, and then you run Rageful Plushie, you can get +4 after an attack? Oh boy, you win. Especially if you're secret ability. If you're tank Mutagon, you just use 2 Brawn boosts and get the +6, and then you quick punch and win. It even has ice coverage, so yeah, I can use ice coverage if you really want to. This is probably the most brain-dead Loomian to use in the entire game, probably besides number 1. But the thing is with Mutagon is that I don't think Mutagon is that bad to go up against, as weird as it sounds. While it is very OP, especially with Brawn Boost and Priority, I never got angry when I went up against Mutagons. Unlike other Loomians like Tooclips and like Your Soul, where I'm just flat out angry when I get destroyed by them. When it comes to Mutagon, it always feels like I never feel angry when I get destroyed by a Mutagon. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Mutagon's design or if it's the fact that I have most of my teams have a spirit type, so I can counter Mutagon alright. But yeah, I never had that much problems with Mutagon, but I can definitely see why Mutagon is one of the most OP Loomians in the entire game. And it's also one of the easiest Loomians in the entire game to use, because you Brawn Boost twice, and you can pretty much sweep any Loomian besides Vesperatu and Duska. And even then, those are not used that much because Tooclips exists. So, Mutagon is definitely one of the most powerful Loomians to use. Honorable mentions, and the 2 honorable mentions that we'll be saying will be Cephalops. It should make sense why Cephalops is an easy Loomian to use. You click Soul Drain, you get health back. You even have an ability to increase your damage with Soul Drain. I mean, noobs can use this, pros can use this. It will do amazing work as a pro and a noob. Cephalops definitely deserves to be on this list, but I didn't have another spot, so it's an honorable mention. Another honorable mention is Revenine, and I know Revenine is pretty easy to use. I mean, it's a range tank with Barter Heavy Shackles. And if you have Barter Heavy Shackles, you can stun any fast Loomian while tanking pretty much any hit on the range side. So, Revenine being pretty easy to use makes a lot of sense. And it's also another honorable mention onto this list. Let's head to the easiest Loomian. And the easiest Loomian in the entire game to use is Boonary. There is no other choice. And when this thing came out at first, I was wondering why Speeder was like, oh, Boonary's a nightmare. It's one of the most brain-dead Loomians to use. And then I tried it myself. Boonary is brain-dead. You could use this on any team. Anyone can use this. This pretty much prevents setup sweeping, which is really sad. And also, it can even be used to scout your opponent, which in PvP is really good. But is it fun? Not really. I guess for the first month it was really fun because, you know, it's good to actually have something unique. But nowadays, it is so easy to use. Anyone can use Boonary and use it well. I can use it well. In this case, I destroy a harvest sack from destroying me. In the first clip, I counter Tooclips. Yeah, a counter for Tooclips. You heard that correctly. And then in the last clip, I give myself a second Medito. So I swap out of Medito to go into Medito, which is just insane. Like, there are not many other Loomians that can do that, which is just absurd. I mean, Boonary is one of the easiest Loomians to use in the entire game by a long shot. And if anyone uses a setup move, you just go into Boonary and then you sweep them in return. It's that easy. Boonary is that easy to use. And that's why Boonary is number 1 onto this list. And here it is. Boonary, number 1. The most easiest Loomian to ever use in the entire game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me talking about the easiest Loomians to use. And soon I will make a list of the hardest Loomians to grasp the skills on. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me talking about the easiest Loomians in the entire game, and I'll see y'all all later. Bye-bye!